have you ever been on a run like you're currently on at the minute? 8 wins in a row is quite astounding, isn't it?
To answer the question, I think I haven't. But we've just taken it as it comes. Honestly speaking, we've approached each game with full focus on that specific game, and we've put ourselves in the position that we're currently in, and we're just taking it as it comes.
That's been quite clear from what Grant McCann's said today and previously. Has he been very active in if anybody's got slightly ahead of themselves and start discussing where it might be? It's kind of like the police coming in and shutting you all down.
Oh no, far from it. I think as a group, honestly speaking, our full focus is on each game. We're looking at ourselves, not even paying much attention to the league table. We're just looking at ourselves and concentrating on us because we dictate and determine what we do.
So in your words, why do you think the team has managed to go on such a good run in the last 2 months?
Very good question. I feel as though there's been a lot of work on the training ground, if I'm being honest. A lot of work on the training ground, a lot of understanding from what the gaffer wants and how we can best as players execute that on the pitch. And there's been a lot of encouragement in playing with freedom, playing with an expressive nature and a lot of positivity. So I think that's helped in the performances that we've been able to put together.
So I think it'd be very easy to go, there's been a couple of loan signings that have come in January, made an impact, which there has. The players come back from injury, which clearly is going to help. But it sounds like from what you're saying and everything, that it's a bit more than that. You know, things elsewhere that maybe you've been working on all season have really kind of bedded in.
100%. The loan signings that have come in have done fantastically well for us. They've come in to complement the players that are already here. They've come in to add to the group, to the strong squad that we already have, and you're seeing it on the pitch there. It's all coming together well. There's great chemistry, if I'm being honest, on and off the pitch. Around the training ground, it's lively, it's bubbly, it's very good, very, very good.
I imagine it is. How proud are you to have recently made your 100th appearance for Doncaster Rovers?
Generally speaking, I'm truly grateful from the bottom of my heart. First and foremost to God Almighty, and especially just to Doncaster Rovers, because sitting here now, probably 3 years on or so, from the time where I've come in on a short-term contract and they put a lot of faith into me and they backed me, and I'm thankful that I was able to repay that faith and continuing as I have to just keep getting better. And it's been some journey so far, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more things to look forward to.
Let's be honest, you're still a young man. I can definitely say that from my perspective, turning 40 this year, which is grim, but that's less of me. It's been some roller coaster, hasn't it, over the last 3 years since you've come in. You know, you've had a number of managers, big turnover, a lot of it has been difficult. Just kind of sum up what that entire ride's been like from your perspective.
It might sound a bit strange, but it's been, I think the best way to put it is probably exciting, in terms of, from the perspective of you're always facing something different week in, week out. You're, like you said there, different managers in my first season, then the same thing in the second season, and you're always almost being kept on your toes, and you're almost not really sure what to expect, and you're having to keep yourself very, what's the best word I can use, adaptable, because anything can happen. Change is inevitable, so it's you needing to put yourself in the best possible position to appreciate the change and also adapt with the change, and go with the way things may now be from what you thought they were before.
Seems like you're somebody that tries to see a positive or a benefit in different situations. Is that an important character trait, particularly when, say, things for the team aren't working on the pitch, or for you individually, or the results aren't coming, etc.?
100%. It's tough. It is tough, because at the end of the day, I'm a human being, and you will have emotions, and there will be some highs and there will be some lows. And I think it's just, for myself, just needing to, myself and what I'd say to anyone else is try and stay as level as possible. Don't get too high in the highs and don't get too low in the lows, and just try and keep yourself as balanced as possible. And like you say, things are always going to come at you in life. It's about how you approach it and how you put yourself in the best possible position to react to it in a way that benefits you in the long run.
From that perspective then, has Grant McCann been a really good figure to get into the club this year? Because, you know, that chimes a lot with what he's come out with on a very consistent basis.
100%. Even with the reputation that he has at the club from his time before, I think then you look at the clubs he went to after that and what he did at those clubs, you have to put your hands up and say, yeah, this is someone that 100% there's a lot of experience right there, and you're wanting to learn. You're definitely wanting to learn. You're definitely wanting to come in every single day and put your best foot forward. And you're not going to get it right every single day, but wanting to learn and wanting to get better is the main thing and the most important thing.
And do you feel that everybody within the squad has kind of bought into what Grant's all about, what Cliff and James and everybody else that's in the team there has really bought into what he's brought this season?
I believe so. And one thing that's very encouraging and nice to see is that on the training pitch as well, as a group, we're also driving ourselves and wanting to get the best out of one another and being demanding of each other, because that's the only way you can make sure that everyone is finely tuned for what's going to come ahead and making sure you're getting the best out of each and every single player around you.
And I suppose when you think about it from that and look at your position in particular, you know, Tom Anderson's been there for a while, but adding Richard Wood this season, I imagine for you, has been fantastic, because just such a wealth of experience. You know, I've interviewed him for a long time from his time at Rotherham as well. You know, such a great guy that seems to have just come in and lifted everyone.
For sure, like I said, there in regards to the gaffer as well, with Woody, the captain, he's got his experience is second to none. The experience that he comes in terms of playing in the Championship, being the top end of League One, promotions upon promotions, it's something that you've got to sit back and almost go, yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna not be afraid to ask the questions. What do you think about this? And almost try and pick his brain, and it might even be with things off the pitch and how do you do this, how do you do that, and just sit down and just do a lot of listening, if I'm being honest.
Have you made sure you do that though? You know, use the time, use the opportunity, because a lot of players might not necessarily get someone like Richard Wood to be able to pick their brains off and play alongside. For
sure, 100%. Along with the other senior players that we have in the group as well, it's not something I go around waking up in the morning saying I've got to tick off talking to Tommy Rowe, Richard Wood, Tom Anderson, not at all, but just in the most natural way possible, just have conversations with them. You know, they've played a lot of football, they've seen a lot of different things, and it's nice, it's entertaining some of the stories they come up with, if I'm being honest.
I bet it is. Yeah, great characters. In terms of where the club's been over the last couple of years, what would it mean for you individually to get this club back up to League One? Because it has been difficult for the players, difficult time for the fans, and let's be honest, 2 months ago you were potentially staring over your shoulders at the National League. Now look at you. What would it mean if you could kind of complete this amazing rise?
I think it's taking each game as it comes, if I'm being honest with you. Generally just facing the game ahead of us and giving that game our entirety, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every single way, giving the next game, which is Barrow at home, giving that game every ounce of effort that we have within us, and then just going from there.
The atmosphere is going to be quite something. You know, there's not going to be many spare seats this weekend. It's against another team that's challenging for the playoffs. And these are the kind of games that, as a player, you look at and think, yeah, this is what it's all about.
100%. Growing up as a kid, probably age 9, 10. These are the games you get up for. There's not much extra incentive that you need to be up for this kind of game, and just it's another game. I'll be honest, it is another game. We're going to play the game, not the occasion, and you don't want to get too excited and too giddy. You just need to stay as level as possible and just approach the game as what it presents.